One map down and potentially only one more to go. Based on the way that we just watched Liquid play in map 1, it might be a little bit of an early day for Fnatic, but it is at least their map pick. This is day 2 of the iBUYPOWER Masters, and it's our first semi-final. We've still got games going on to see who's going to be playing Astralis after this match, so we're not quite sure, but it's looking like could be Ghost. Could be Ghost.
My boy Kusa, top of the scoreboard, 6-1 lead. It's not too shabby.
I feel like that's a player that always kind of got a bad rap.
He did.
Not with Moses.
He did, yeah. I've always been there. I'm on that bus forever. Forever.
At least you're committed.
Yes.
Lifelong. Looking at this series right now, obviously Fnatic took some bumps and bruises in that first game, but this is at least their map pick. We're coming into Mirage. Can we expect better things, or is Liquid just far and above the better team?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like Fnatic's best chance to get a map off of Liquid. I mean, Fnatic have been really strong on Mirage. They beat Liquid on Mirage at Chicago. They beat Astralis on Mirage at Chicago. So definitely a map where I feel like their looser, scrappier style of play actually can work really well on T side. I think that Twist and Brolin are in natural positions for themselves coming from their old team. They are really strong in mid. Krims is like one of the best outside A players on T side, I think, in the world. Like, he's really good at being patient when he needs to be, but finding openings when he needs to. So they have a lot going for them. I think the big problem is I think they're really reliant on that fast-paced play style, where I think Liquid is more of a complete team. They can play the more methodical defaults. They can do set pieces that are a little bit more coordinated. They have more gears they can shift through, where I feel like Fnatic is just like pedal to the metal all the time.
I think part of it too is if you go back to Cash, just the way that Liquid played that with the defensive setups were just so strong. Didn't look like Fnatic even knew how to kind of break through some of those crossfires, some of those two-man setups with the Augs and everything. So that was really cool to watch. And if that's going to be a similar story, I think we might just see another slaughter, which is kind of a scary idea. But I know Fnatic, I mean, the nice thing for them, they played this earlier. They get to kind of talk things over. It's fresh in their mind how everyone's playing and everything like that. And obviously they said they've looked a little bit more warmed up as this tournament has gone on. But that Liquid team just looked so strong. Those Augs and Commandos and Kriegs, whatever you want to call it, that SG550s.
Yeah. It's still the Krieg to me.
Krieg?
It'll always be the Krieg in the bullpup.
You're a classic man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Liquid's Mirage, it's just the results have been a bit mixed and a bit misleading, again, because they just lost to Astralis on it so many times. And they had like a really rough start to the year on Mirage, but as the year drug on, they started to get a little bit better results. They even beat Astralis a couple of times, beat FaZe a couple of times. So I think it got better as the year went on, but still probably not their stronger maps, right? They're more towards like Inferno or Cash like we just saw. But I think, again, I don't want to like go too crazy because I think I see like headsets off stuff, so I don't want to give anything away. But I think that Liquid, again, did not have to make that many adjustments on their Mirage T side. I think that Stewie kind of naturally fit into a certain spot that you'll see. Actually, headsets are back on, so we're good. Stewie's going to be playing outside the A-bomb side on T side, from what I understand, which is a spot he's very comfortable playing. It means that everyone else kind of got to keep similar positions to what they were already doing. So again, it's an easy transition on this map, just like Cash, where they didn't have to rock the boat too much, and it just worked out that Stewie'd like to play the spot they put him into.
Honestly, like even if Fnatic, even if you want to take the opinion that Fnatic is going to be better on the map, I think Liquid's still far and away the better team.
Yeah, sure.
And I think the players they have are performing at a better level at the moment. So regardless of whether like a record is better on a map or how someone plays it might be a little bit more efficient, I still think Liquid, just by the fact that they are a better team and at the moment looking like better individual players as well, that to me just sells it. Like Liquid's going to take the second map, Liquid's going to move on to the grand finals.
Yeah, they just have a way deeper playbook than Fnatic. Again, like Fnatic, they have a couple different things they can do, and if those things don't work, they don't have much to fall back on, whereas I feel like Liquid, just through all the time they had together last year, maybe some new ideas that Dren's brought to the table, they're going to be able to make more adjustments. They have a little bit more flexibility in their approach to the game, and I think that it makes a huge difference in a situation like this.
I mean, looking at this Fnatic roster, what's going to be key for them if they want to try and take this map away?
I mean,
Brolin and Twist need to show up.
Yeah, not just show up. I mean, I think one or two of them need to actually just like blow up and have incredible games. Either way, I think we're ready for the casters. So I mean, we can send it over to them, Dan and Strip. I know.
No, it's
what's his Scriv.
Harvey.
We're just doing Harvey.
We just got to embrace the meme.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it yet, hopefully you guys can get out there and check it out. But we do have the boys upstairs ready to jump into the action. Take it away, guys.
Let's go Liquid. Cheers, lads. Yes. Second map is coming here for the semi-final, first semi-final of the day here at the iBUYPOWER Masters. I'm DK with Scrib, of course, and this is going to be pretty interesting because Fnatic, they just got smacked down.
Yeah, they really did. The CT side from Liquid was pretty damn incredible. starting off. It was really, really interesting to see how kind of dominant they were, and also there was a great level of just recovery. You know, a few of the rounds maybe a bit of over-aggression, but they were good to be like, right, let's move back and work this out. So I think it's going to be pretty scary coming into this next map for Fnatic if they're not able to bounce back pretty solidly. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how much, you know, well, so we all know if you go and wash your hands, things can feel weird and different, right? You probably think I'm weird here. We just saw Stewie run to the bathroom right now. So, so that's the question I always had when I was always playing. You get into the zone, everything feels good. Go to the bathroom, do you wash your hands? So what a dilemma! What a dilemma!
It's going to like change the dynamic. You got slightly like colder hands, slightly wetter hands. I feel
you got more friction.
Yeah,
so nice and squeaky clean. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's, you know, tweet me if you have the answer to that. But anyway, it will be quite interesting to see, indeed, how Fnatic decide to bounce back here again. You know, you never like to go too crazy when you're like, oh, this team got smacked down. They, you know, they must be, you know, in emotional doldrums. It must be so difficult. But you know, these guys are experienced. They know how to handle losses. They know how to get that mental reset in play. And it's a new map here between both Fnatic and Team Liquid. Of course, this is the iBUYPOWER Masters brought to you by Toyota and Microsoft.
Indeed, and we're going to be getting straight into Mirage here, the second map. Into the pistol, Fnatic over on that T side. A little bit of utility being bought up and expended fairly early on, so very aggressive B hit coming through from them. Just Twists to be holding it down, and he's going to play things passively, wait for his teammates to come in. They already are arriving as Naf manages to find that first kill. Nice little trade back from Brolan, getting aggressive off the back of the bomb plant. A little bit late to this site here. There is a kit in the hands of Nitro, but it's looking good for Fnatic. A lot of control so far and some pretty decent post plants.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, but seen some great things here from Cloud9 yesterday, bursting in through that market. Maybe Liquid can do the same, and indeed, it's quite a good start, but Exist will start to defend, working from the bench with that P250. Very strong gun in the pistol round, but not strong enough here to stop the Liquid forces as they march into that defuse. 3 players surviving, that is a good look, and once again, Liquid will start with a great economy moving into that CT side at the beginning of a map. That's exactly the opposite of what a Fnatic wanted. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really solid initial take into that B site to get the bomb down. But again, as we saw a lot on Cash, Team Liquid rather, not afraid to allow that bomb to go down. Not going to panic, not going to try and overcompensate to pick up kills and regain control until they are prepared to do so. And they certainly were prepared moving into that site. Like you say, very dominant indeed, and they get off to a fantastic start. Going to be the buy-up coming in from Fnatic. The mac and cheese, pretty much, for Mac 10s coming out. And there's actually no one directly on this B-bomb site, so this could be interesting if Liquid are not able again to retake that control. But this time the weaponry is slightly peskier to deal with. Those Mac 10s up close and personal are really going to be a thorn in the side. Elish to find the first, costs him a fair chunk of HP. It's a good start here once again on that retake. Exist edging forward, trying to find something, anything. A little bit of help from Crims and Brolan, though, to find a couple more kills. And it is looking good for the Swedes. Another falls, and Elish tries to escape, but JW's got something else to say. Fnatic with the quick answer back.
What a cute little strat there. Just instead of going for a save with maybe like a couple deagles, they get the Mac 10s, go for a B rush. That is very cool. I'm liking that. That's definitely caught Liquid by a surprise. I actually wondered, you know, if they thought to themselves, after losing the B-bomb site in that fashion, maybe we should just go for a full save here. I was actually wondering if that was on the cards there, but they decide not to do it. They do get some damage into Fnatic, but with the Mac 10s and everything, they're going to have a pretty stout buy in this round, and it'll be the force up here for Liquid, of course, as you'd expect. And we'll see if Fnatic can hold against it. They'll go for that fast mid take, going for a very safe approach where you take 2 players underpass and 1 player top mid. That keeps you pretty safe against really fast mid aggressions from the CTs and allows you to control window with and also connector in a more secure way. And you can see that connector smoke coming down, and now Fnatic do have that connector control. But the question is, where next?
Indeed, what do they do with it? Naf and Brolan. The meeting of the minds in just a second. Great flashbang comes in, though. And that is an easy pickup. Certainly looking a little bit revitalized and not just immediately disheartened going into the sloppy CS. It's simple, but it's effective from Fnatic to pick up that first kill. And Brolan looking for more with that AUG that he retrieved in the previous round.
It's really cool to see that position, that boost position on the window, because you can play really well out of that. We can see Eli's not going to spot this and jump through, and he's actually going to get shot in the back. But Twist could have waited for his teammates to take distraction towards jungle, and then he pushes in. Boom, you're going to get a kill pretty much every time there. So a lovely setup coming in from Fnatic. It's very different, a stark contrast to that first map. It's a very dominant start where they get an incredible economy straight away, as opposed to Liquid, who did that on the first map. So now a taste of their own medicine, and it's rather bitter. We'll see.
Okay.
Double dink coming in from Twist. That's just what he does.
Yeah, just real good at CS, you know,
So
real good at shooting heads. But yeah, Fnatic, a good little answer back from them for sure to obviously kind of force that first round of theirs, but this one very clean, not letting it go by the wayside, starting to build that economy again, and the confidence, you know, that mental game is probably early on in this game the biggest factor right now for Fnatic to get off to a good start. It's really going to do them good. Going into the first gun round, though, it will be interesting to see, but they eventually drop everybody. Some pretty nasty headshots from Exist towards the end. Surviving with 4 players. Again, the money is going to be looking good, but it depends on how now, I suppose with one more eco probably from Liquid, like a solid eco this time around. It depends on how that first rifle round is going to go. Yeah, just a 1P250 from Twist.
So the full save, the reality has been realized. Got to accept it at this point. Fnatic have an incredible economy lined up. They've got some great momentum at the beginning of this T side, and Liquid are going to struggle to get their buys out. A nice kill there. And I'm not sure if that was a one-way for the CTs, but a lot of these one-ways around middle now are pretty common. I mean, so common and in the meta that people just expect it. It's an easy and safe spam from the T side. And you can see that paying off in Nitro. Maybe he can get one more kill. I don't think that he's going to be able to save a gun. That would be an objective, but it's looking unlikely here. Exist seems to be aware, and indeed, it'll finish him off. And that's the round 3-1. Fnatic looking good, but now the real test is really starting to begin.
Yeah, as I kind of mentioned it in that round that they initially won, it is kind of that mac and cheese, especially, kind of puns aside. It's a very, very cheesy kind of thing to do, right? You just run straight in towards B, and like we sort of said at the start, there was no one on B from Liquid. It's a little bit of a misread, so it was sort of a lost round from Liquid. It doesn't give a full-on telling of, Fnatic are back and they're in the driver's seat, and all that kind of stuff. It's still by the wayside yet. It depends on how this one goes. But 5 orgs, Dan. What's going on right now?
Well, balcony burst, just going contact. This is really interesting from Fnatic. And look, Sui has no idea. Elige caught out in the open. They've completely caught Liquid off guard, so they can't get their setups going. But somehow Nitro finds himself too, just catching them just in the nick of time before they get out of the apartments. That's a big one. That gives Liquid a good edge here.
Yeah, that is a small mistake from Fnatic, but it certainly cost them quite a bit. They do have a little bit of control towards the connector side of that A site. The bomb goes down momentarily. No kits available for the CTs, but the man advantage, a little bit of utility to boot. However, JW trying to hold things down. It's all onto Naf. 4 HP for JW in at jungle. The quick switch around as Naf is not entirely sure where he's playing from. Going to try and go for the bomb tap. It's easy enough as JW not giving his position away just yet, reading into the fact that the money is not good. There might not be any kits available, and Naf really has no idea. The nade to go through, though, it might just do it. It does. JW falls. It was right next to him, and the defuse, plenty of time. Liquid will only just secure that second rifle round, but once again, it is looking pretty good for them to start off, getting the ball rolling with the rifles once they come out. However, going into this next round, their economy certainly going to have taken a hit.
Oh, that's enough. What a nade. I do love it. Like, I think, you made the perfect point there that you drop that smoke if you don't know where the T is. That sometimes they feel so pressured to shoot it, and then that gives their position away. JW had the discipline not to do that. Still gets a nade in the face. Doesn't seem all that fair, does it? But speaking of which, JW and Twist strike back. Fast approach into mid, catching Liquid with their pants around their ankles, trying to get out into a fast underpass drop, and Fnatic are having none of it.
Certainly, the Fnatic cat is out of the bag, and they are angry coming into this round. Great stuff from them with that mid take. Now boosting up towards Mindo. Naf needs to be careful, but it's a bait play. Twists is there. The sound cue comes from Naf, but the kill from Twists will at least give them a bit of a fighting chance. Like we said, that economy not great, so the weaponry therefore not great. And now a man down, things are not looking good. But on the opposite sides of the smokes here, who is going to be the first to meet, to spot the other? I think at this point, no sound being made by Twists, and he's going to park right in towards jungle. Stewie still here, but maybe they don't think there's anyone here. Yeah, exists. He walks straight through that smoke, straight into him. Twist him with the trade, though. 3 versus 2. There's the bomb coming in from Palace.
And maybe he's done enough here. Naf's actually not in a bad position, operating from triple. That connector player is going to be very problematic, but he has to. Can he get straight away a shot in there? Not quite enough damage, and he'll get traded out here. Twist still alive in connector, spotted. The information will go to Twist, but he's only got a FAMAS, no grenades. Can Twist pull this one off?
That's the real question. Moving in from CT, a lot of noise being made, but if you can find the shots, it's certainly doable. The headshot angle, though, from Crims is too hard to predict. And it will be a 4th round for Fnatic. Again, they bounce back. They get that reset in. This is a much more chaotic start, but Fnatic seem to be climbing that ladder of chaos and coming out on top of things for the most part.
And catching that 2-man drop into underpass there from Fnatic, that's something that we didn't really see them catching at all. I think they didn't get opportunities like that in the first map. Liquid never seemed to guess wrong with their plays, and so it really feels like we have a very interesting start in our hands. And once again, we'll see the 2-man push in underpass. JW had a nade in his hand. He's expecting this, but they'll rush him down. He knows that he has to back away here if he wants to actually survive this. Trying to retake the angle with a flashbang. Gets a 1-for-1. It's good information, but Liquid, they still have stuff to work with here. And Stewie will pick up that UMP.
Could be a bit of a difference maker. Drop another weapon, earn a bit of money. Is the kind of main objective. Anything more than that ends up being a little bit of a bonus. So that is a shame for Naf. Unfortunately, doesn't get the sound cues in, so facing completely the wrong way. 4 versus 3 might just be an idea to maybe save what they've got going into the next round. They're pretty solidly locked out here, and losing Stewie with that SMG not really ideal. So it looks like an exit play from Liquid so far. Just perhaps catch a player off guard, get a cheeky rifle. But again, Fnatic looking revitalized. Certainly a lot cleaner from them in these types of rounds as well. I suppose, to be fair on Cash, we didn't see them play too many rounds against pistols and weaker buys and things. They are earning the money. They are looking a hell of a lot cleaner. 5 versus 2. Bit of BM from Crims, but you love to see it. That rivalry coming through in this best of 3.
So, Liquid really against the wall at the moment. That economy not treating them all that well, having to save, and with one save, they're gonna have their money will be weird. They may have to let Fnatic get to 7 rounds if they want to pull Orbs out. So I'm quite curious to see what the decision will be at that point. So here we have Fnatic now moving forwards, back into fast mid take, and the Zeus out for Stewie.
Of course it would be Stewie with the zapper. This could be a bit dangerous though. They kind of move into this A site with very little information, or not the right nades. Could end up losing a few players, so you do need to be careful. Sending the feelers out there, it's smart, slow play. JW on the Mac 10 to gather that information. Ooh, Stewie gets the zap straight through the smoke. Immediately traded, but you love to see that. Nice little bit of movement. He saw that smoke. He predicted the follow-up nade from JW, and unfortunately, JW caught with his pants down. And he is so red-faced right now. I think Fnatic are going to take the round, or maybe I spoke too soon. Naf drops the bomb. We
saw it yesterday with the Strala. CD side Mirage with USPs. Somehow find kills. Headshots abound, but need to get more here, and they're stuck in the market. It's such a difficult choke point. There are grenades here for Fnatic as well. 1 smoke at the very least. That's all that's required to shut this completely down. And Nigel will try, but at this point, maybe all they do is have to give money away. But Leash is coming in from Cat with that Mag 10, and maybe he can find a kill onto Twist. Twist has got himself a helmet, so he should be safe from the Mag 10, and Leash, meanwhile, no Kevlar at all to speak of. And here comes the rush down from Team Liquid with those USPs, and indeed, as expected, it's pretty easy to shut down. Although some extra damage has been incurred, but nothing to really be all that sad about, but here it is. You can look at the money here for Liquid. It's enough to buy, but no one can afford an AWP, so that's a shame.
Something that was so very impactful over on Cash, the threat of an AWP at all choke points, whether it be A, mid, or B. That's obviously something that Mirage as well is very much known for. The AWPs all over the map, certainly viable on that CT side. Double AWP setups. Don't know about you, but I feel like this map kind of pioneered the idea of a double AWP setup way back when.
It has, yeah, it has so many options for a CT AWP. It's really, really awesome to see. And a shame not to see any AWPs. True. And it gives so many more options to Fnatic. Like, it allows you to bully Palace and Apartments. The extremities on the map become much easier. You can take mid with much more confidence, not having to worry about Connector or Cat pushes nearly as much with these AWPs. But these Orcs have been pretty devastating too. And we have a 3-man play early in the round from Liquid. And Fnatic are with a lot of players towards the B Apartments here, and they're looking for Twist to get that fast kill and then to explode from that into a B split, but it will be smoked off, and they're going to have to play a little bit slower, but it does look like they really do want it still.
The aggressive style for Fnatic, I think, coming into Mirage here has really helped them out. But a bit of a timeout, it can be easy to get a read on that. Crim's so very unfortunate for Twist that he leaves him 4 HP. That's certainly going to be a factor going into the latter stages of the round, as he's got a little bit of support towards short. Nice move up to do some more damage. Twist left on 1. Holy. Very unlucky for Twists, but again, he'll be getting those assists most likely in the next few moments. About a minute remaining, as they don't want anything to do with B right now. Org too strong. Unfortunately, there's 4 more to deal with. That's not great. That's really a bad position for it as well, because it blocks off those underpass players. Elige capitalizes, Naf as well to work with him. And now there are only 3 remaining for Fnatic. Those 2 players, a combined HP of 5. This is not looking great at all.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. Liquid don't have to move a muscle here. There are so many players alive, and they'll clean up the connector push. 1 more to go. 1 HP Twist. Easy does it for Naf. And Liquid, they lose 0 players, and they pick up an AWP and a Krieg. They are very happy with that, I'm sure. It's perfect. Fnatic must strike back effectively here. And one cool thing is now that, as we mentioned, there are so many options here for Liquid. Where do they feel like that AWP will be best placed? You're going to push with it in either Apartments or go into the underpass with a push. That's actually viable as well. Top mid place. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah, and it's a completely different player from what we saw over on Cash. Nitro going to be picking it up. For a while, he was that solid AWPer, but Liquid, again, like we talked about before the first map, seemed to be free-flowing with it. However, he opts not to get very aggressive at all. It's, in fact, Fnatic to gain so much control. Brolan might just have snuck in here. I don't think Naf's going to be expecting it. Great nade, sure, but Brolan actually has so much control as he's crept in towards jungle. This is fantastic so far for Fnatic. He can get this flank off behind as well. They're surely not going to be expecting this. It was 20 seconds. Meets Naf, finds his head easily enough. And the B-bomb site now has been ripped apart. Twist has got to hold this down effectively. The only one here, Nitro, unfortunately picked off by Crims back in that lurk role. It's not looking too good. Brolan just waiting maybe a little bit too long there, Dan, as he does get taken down. Twist is still here, but Twist, without the Z's, makes quick work. Elige now in a 1 versus 3. Has to try and find this one for Liquid, because Fnatic look like they might just get the reset. Good nade to start off, but as the bomb goes down, it becomes harder.
Open JW as well, aimed at one of the 2 choke points that Elige can try to push through. Makes things very hard, but he does have a smoke, which he could try to perhaps allow him to push forwards and block off some of the vision that JW has with that AWP. And you can see how defensive Fnatic are actually being here. Maybe a chance, but no, this will shut it down. And what a scrappy round there for Liquid. Fnatic, as you mentioned, Brolan getting in with that flank, causing all kinds of problems. Very good kill into market. And then at that point, Fnatic actually got, I think it was Crims that got a pick towards A, just all of a sudden just collapsing all around Liquid. So, and they are so fortunate in the previous round they survived with 5 players, because that does give them that buffer of money to be able to take a loss like that. But it also is not great because they're really not finding that flow that they had on that first map. And Fnatic, they are a confidence team. When they start to feel confident, we start to see stuff like that, pushing everything at once. That's a classic Fnatic move.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a difficult one as well because, like you say, it sort of falls apart for Liquid. When you have a player that has snuck in, just the basic communication kind of falls apart, right? Instead of immediately being like, oh, there's one market because you know he's going to be there, you maybe have that player who gets taken down. It's like, how is he market? And then just gets a little bit annoyed. It messes things up, and it just slows the whole process down on a logistical level, not just on the kind of mechanical level.
And it's so cool as well because when you're playing at the top level, plays like that Brolan made, you know, that can happen in a pug and so on. But in a pug, you know, you don't really understand like the consistency of how people play setups and so on and so forth. But this is a calculated risk in a very important match, and it's based on knowing the meta at the top level and knowing that there are certain timings when they might have a certain setup where that actually works and just feeling it out. So really cool that Brolan went for that. And look at the position it's put his team in. In fact, despite Liquid having some buffer of some money, they don't have enough to really go for it here comfortably. So they're going to give up another round to Fnatic most likely unless something ridiculous happens. And this is great. This is really good. This is what you want to see in the semi-finals. We're seeing Fnatic really pull themselves up by the bootstraps and they are beginning to make things really work.
Yeah, it was a difficult start to the tournament, a difficult start to the day, having only really won a couple maps here and there. Getting pasted a few times is never nice. JW with a good little reaction though. Certainly feeling the confidence, not quite the flick shot onto the jumping player at triple. Too short. Will eventually trade each other out. Twist not quite ready for the second, however. So it is being very well recovered by Fnatic here. Once again, to make sure they build up that money. Don't lose too many rifles. Let's see what Stu can do. Nice crack angle, but unfortunately not quite fast enough on the reaction. Going to know that that bomb is moving towards B and try and do what he can, but he is the one who gets scalped. All onto Elige, hoping to catch someone off guard. And I think they're going to be prepared for this quasi-flank, as it were. And Fnatic will be in with an 8th round.
I do wonder where Brolan died, where that gun is. It seems like, oh, of course it was Catwalk, wasn't it? So no chance for Elige to get it. That's a very cheeky frag. Clearance will end him though, and that'll be the round 2 Fnatic, as it was always meant to be. But a couple of kills, not too shabby there from Liquid, as they now have given themselves a chance to have a full buy. They could have maybe gone for something in the previous round, but they wanted double orbs and triple orgs, and that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen a single M4
no kit
from this CT side. That's a really good point. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Maybe they have plans for the myriad of smokes that they have opted to go for. Nice bit of movement from Naf. Gets that control at short. Are they going to be prepared for this? I mean, it's not smoked, so that kind of says they don't want to push for a while anyway. I think mainly because that connector smoke got thwarted by a Molotov. Or perhaps the other way around. I think Molotov goes in, smoke went down. Thinking about it, but here we go. Flash comes through. Unfortunately, does not blind up Naf at all. And very good discipline from him to just pick up one, drop back, and gather their bearings for what is to come next from Fnatic.
Yeah, and again, like looking at their utility, it's almost all but gone. Fnatic actually, if they're able to, let's say, right now what they're doing is perfect. They're going for a set piece. I love this response from Liquid at the same time. This is a perfect way to respond to this, because a set piece from Fnatic will be really strong. There will be no counter utility for Liquid really to go for a retake. So Fnatic to hit up an A play in this fashion is really strong, but this is the counter here. This off angle, when would you ever expect that? Great trade coming in from Exist, but that is going to give enough information for rotations to come in and give Liquid a chance.
Of course, retains that man advantage as well. Molotovs and smokes to come raining in for Fnatic here. Naf getting a little bit aggressive, maybe playing that bait style. He is indeed. Stewie, well traded once again, but the trades are going to be working out because of that initial frag for Liquid, all down to JW onto the B250. Naf, though, through the smoke, spots out his feet and sprays him down. A 4th round for Liquid, as it's looking really good for them on the rebound. Sure, Fnatic are up to 8, going to take that overall half victory. But Liquid, they got some pretty nasty T-sides, so if they can get up to 6 or 7 rounds, I think it'd be really, really good for them.
And it's so cool to see as well, because you make a calculated gamble as well. Like you know that Naf saw that they were pushing into mid with 2 to 3 players, so you can guess, okay, if it's a default at worst in that Palace, we're going to push and find one guy, most likely, at worst. And so they find no one, and they're just being active, and that it's just like they're always active, always trying to play the map, trying to take edges all the time. And I love that about Liquid so far. It's been doing them a lot of favors, and it made the difference in that last round. And now it's down to Fnatic to strike back with some of the confidence we've seen so far. And Liquid is so sneaky from JW, but it's not going to work out. Defended by Elige, and pushing up a catwalk seems very risky, but Brolan's trying to get it done here. But Naf is in position. He spots it, and it's too easy for him.
Indeed, that corner's just starting to dissipate. Twist, a missed shot. Unfortunate. I think he was caught backing away. At least there is Naf here in from short to try and hold things down, buy time for the rotations. Left on 6 HP after that nade, and the Molotov as well to finish him off. So certainly a chance. As they gain more and more control of the B site, they could definitely get the bomb down here if they avoid the prying eyes of Nitro. There's still a lot more work to do. There are kits available this time, and Elige is slowly creeping in. Contact Org, not something that we say very often when casting CS, but it works. And Stewie with the final one onto Twist. They do get that bomb down, but Fnatic continue to lose rounds as Liquid are really getting back into this first half.
I wonder if they found the second orb, but yeah, it was very strange to see Twist miss that shot. He actually had quite a lot of time, and Twist just doesn't miss anything. He's pretty incredible. So good to see for Liquid that they actually managed to hold on. Fnatic, they've already got quite a big lead, and so they're going to be feeling not too bad about that. Obviously, map 1 was abhorrent in comparison, and they have to go with CZs and a couple of Deagles, and they got some utility as well. We'll see how this half-buy works out for them. Leaving enough money in the bank for that last round and a half. And a quick mid-take coming in from Liquid. They're going to have a fast rotation to B if Fnatic do decide to commit there.
Yeah, they seemed to half commit, maybe thwarted by a Molotov or a smoke, slowed down a little bit, and now the hit's going to be a little bit more telegraphed. Nitro with the shotgun up close and personal, trying to make room for that player to come through the smoke. A very wide swing from him. Oh, the missed shots from JW. Gets taken down by the USP in the end. Must have been a messy fight over there, and it ends up costing them. Twist with the great read through the smoke. You say he doesn't miss shots. He missed the one in the previous round, but there he doesn't even need to see his opponent. It will be a beautiful little 2K to close that one out in favor of Liquid.
Yeah, that's some great work. Especially, the first kill from Nitro. It's very hard when you lose track with an AWP. You're close range, you're scoped in,
right,
and they can be very close in multiple positions. Very difficult, but did what he needed to do. And the last rounds, it's not quite the buy you want to see for Fnatic, but it has enough punch to it and enough utility behind it as well. But they may have to play a faster one with that selection that they have. Now, going for some mid control, perhaps with a slower pace. We can see this default here. Twist looking to see if he can find anything towards that B bomb site. And at the same time, they've got Crims lurking in the palace whilst his teammates take mid. Very standard approach to a Mirage default.
Oh, but Elige on the edge of the smoke, waiting for a flash to come through. I think he blinded up a few players, but did not spot them out. So they know that he's in connector and he's close by. He's not entirely sure where Fnatic are coming from entirely. Holding this close angle, spots the shadow as Brolan creeps in, doesn't opt to check the corner. Unfortunately, does spot his killer in the end, but not quite able to secure. JW left on 3 HP again. So close. And sure, they even things back up, but it's looking good for Liquid as they deny solid mid control. And as you said, they were maybe going to go for a little bit of a split towards A, but now they have this player at B, and it's kind of a situation of where do we go now? Because they know exactly what we're going for. Crims, oh, that's so unfortunate. Been a pretty unlucky round on both sides of things.
Yeah, it's such a good position for Naf. Like, it's designed to deal with that lurk coming out of the palace. And in goes Fnatic now into B. It's what they have to do. And somehow, Nitro, no idea about that one. And that is an opportunity there taken by Twist as he takes over market, or tries to at least get some control there. How deep does he go? He's the only man with any HP. JW, 3 left for him. 1 bullet from anything, anywhere, and he's dead. Liquid will encroach slowly but surely, looking to make sure this one works. They will wait for each other before going in.
It's all on Twist, really, to hold this down for Fnatic. Finds the head of Naf. Oh, and he takes down Stewie as well. And JW, the return peak. Somehow Fnatic secure that 9th round. Very messy from Liquid in the end, to be honest. That surely should have gone their way. They had plenty of utility and men and HP. But by the skin of their teeth, a little bit of luck on their side here in Hollywood. Fnatic with a very, very nice end to that second half.
Yeah, that was amazing work from Twist. So crisp on those shots, and that's so nice for Fnatic to end the half in that way here, giving them that edge moving into the second half. And he didn't take a lick of damage. He did not take any damage. Fnatic looks down and out there at the end of the round, but obviously managing to turn things around. But still, we've got a game on our hands. Liquid have a really nice amount of rounds as well to really put up a fight here and have some security should they lose the pistol round as we move into this second half. But they will be playing that T side. And I'm not sure exactly what to expect from the CT side of Fnatic or Liquid's T side and how they may have changed things. You know, Stewie, for example, on the team. When I think about Stewie and T side Mirage, I think about that guy that you just can't get out of that B apartments. You just bullies the B players for fun. And you have to put an AWP there at some point to stop him, you know. So it's like a very different dynamic between him and Taco when it comes to playing those T sides. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it works against Fnatic here.
It will be interesting because, again, it's difficult. We didn't see a lot of either of those two things over on Cash. It was a very short-lived second half. Obviously now we've got the potential for a much better, much closer game here. Let's hopefully getting into it quickly. Kind of seen creep in, especially in America, right? A lot of the pro players are actually starting to use the wireless mice now that battery life and kind of input lag is not as big of an issue as it used to be. So I think it's pretty interesting to see.
I'm a convert as well. I think it is the way forward. I can't go back now. But we are going back into the match. Here it is, Liquid versus Fnatic. It's map 2. Liquid are up 1 map. And this is the iBUYPOWER Masters brought to you by Intel Optane and Loot Bets. And the T side of Liquid looks to feature some smokes, some ollies, and a play straight into A.
Indeed, connector smoke going down. The crowd loving it. A little bit of flash bangage to follow up as well, as they will gain a lot of control quite easily. Naf, a key kill onto JW, who's trying to hold things down. Obviously, it's this retake setup, but not working out initially. There's no kits available for Fnatic anywhere. This is going to be difficult. If they're not able to find anything, the bomb goes down with 9 players alive down. Twist trying to find something, but doesn't find anything. That's an awkward fight that he wins against Elige somehow, but everybody else seems to be losing. He can't get through that rat hole. It's so hard. Naf with the P250 makes quick work of Twist and Brolan. Couple of trades in there for Fnatic, but Liquid will secure that second half pistol. Once again, seems a little bit too easy for them.
And again, it's really cool to see the split pistols at work, and so we can see both teams really getting a good shout, a good shake at this game of Mirage. And I am really looking forward to seeing what the playstyle will look like here for Liquid and how Stewie is. Because, I mean, you mentioned it before, like, the guy is so good at playing aggressive and so good as a playmaker. It's that T side where he can really shine sometimes. And speaking of which, it's Twist to shine towards Palace. And Elige very fast up catwalk with that Mach 10. And things are looking really smooth here for Liquid. The anti-eco, no problemo.
Yeah, they are not letting off. Pedal to the metal, as they say over here in the States. And almost a team ace. It's Stewie with the 2K, but that is a very, very fast round. Didn't even get a chance to talk about the type of weaponry that Fnatic had picked up. There's a little bit of a half buy from them. As you can see, they go straight into a pause. And a couple players have already bought. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too early on that, because JW, especially after picking up that scout, is only on 2700. So doesn't actually have the opportunity to pick up anything that great. So this might be a little bit of a misbuy down. The panic kind of setting in, the pressure getting to them as that crowd once again in favor of Liquid, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic, though, historically, no strangers to being against the crowd.
Very true.
And so I'm sure that's not going to be bothering them too much. And it is great to see so much support here for both the teams, but specifically, the home teams as well. As it's amazing that we have so many more big events these days, coming to North America, and so much strong North American representation as well. So how times have changed.
Indeed.
And Liquid are one of the model teams to look at when it comes to inspiring the culture of Counter-Strike in North America, and they've done so well It's and Stewie's a good example of that. You know, a pug star. You know, everyone was sort of criticizing how he played in pugs, how he looked like kind of this guy that just like runs through smokes and just disrespects you. It's a very puggy play style. That's never the kind of player that'd be a pro. But you know, years on, he is a very well-rounded player and truly very, very solid.
Yeah, how wrong some of us were. I think I was sort of a little bit of a fan, but certainly now I think we can all appreciate, like you say, where he has ended up. But yeah, this buy not great from Fnatic. A few smokes dotted about, but not really a great deal to work with. No kits either. Oh, JW, the triple nade. He was not expecting it at all, just facing straight into that smoke. They all explode behind him. And after a timeout, when you're like, right, we've got this round worked out, guys, let's slow things down, maybe slow their momentum. That is a real kick in the face for sure from Liquid to just take down JW so easily.
Yeah, I love that. The triple nades, very Astralis-esque, so good at sort of having those timing precision strikes with those HEs. And I like how they were staggered as well, just in case one of it was off. You're not going to put all your eggs in one basket, as it were. And it really works out for them. And it's really affected the rotation here for Fnatic. They're really worried about that mid. You can see they're very concerned about it. They can't really push all that deep. They're very passive. They've got no nades to really push in through to take back some of this control. And now Liquid get to just march into this A bomb site, just clearing everything with the fact that they've got loads of utility left. Not so much at this point, but have they done enough? Maybe not. Brolan, he's going to find himself some angles and twists as well, doing some damage. A quick 3 versus 3. Now the situation here for Fnatic to play with, and they're actually not looking too down and out as I thought.
Liege, though, is that Thorn in the side, drops twists on the rotation. Nitro swaps across to an AK and gets caught reloading. They know where Liege is. There's no kits available. It's kind of... Oh, exist! See you later, Liege. I was going to say it's kind of planted for him, but it doesn't even matter. Exist just takes that fight straight up, rips his head clean off. And Fnatic in the first gun round of that second half. Again, it's a little bit chaotic. It's a little bit speedy on both sides. But they seem to be thriving in that chaos right now.
That was awesome. That was...
Yeah.
I really thought Liquid had that one. They had all the advantages. They had their opposition completely locked out of the bomb site with all the utility, superior numbers, and obviously they had great firepower as well. But Fnatic, they're a scrappy team. They're always able to find a way, and 10 rounds now for them as Liquid need to try to break them. And should they win this round, that would be very painful for Fnatic. So if Liquid have one round where they're like, we're really confident this round is super strong, this strategy is super strong, this would be a fantastic round to play that. And speaking of play, Brolan's getting some play around the smoke, getting some info on the ramp.
Could be useful. Depends where he goes from here, though. They might try and flash him out, fight him. Naf is in a position where he could get the backstab. But he is savvy to the facts, backs away, playing it safe, playing it smart. The reserved style, the conservative style. Certainly a fan of that kind of player, personally. Here we go, the retake setup going to be coming in from Fnatic as the smoke's been raining down. A lot of damage traded on both sides. It's Stewie 2K to pick up the first kill, though. Elysian with a second, and an immediate call to save from Fnatic. As they're locked out of that site, it was mainly the B rotators. Maybe Twist looking for some cheeky exits on the MP9.
And it's important too, because if you have one player going aggressive, it does give your other teammates more of a chance to survive. They could have to cover more positions, question more. If he gets a couple kills, then all of a sudden it starts to actually feel quite good for Fnatic. But he so far has been undiscovered, and it's just a matter of time. There it is. Easy kill. Will he go for the gun? Yes, he will. Not expecting the trade fragger to be so close by. And it looks like Fnatic will hold on to their guns, but I'm not sure... Okay, where is their money? Yeah, their money is really, really appalling. So, decisions to be made here in the next round. They could just go for a full save, or they could try to like force around it with Exist and JW dropping UMPs or something. That's basically the best case, though. So, unlikely they'll go for anything like that, and indeed... Ooh. Oh, they are actually going for it. Yeah. All right, okay.
I was kind of thinking it's a good way to balance the economy out, especially because the money that like Exist and JW had available, it would have been a bit of a weird one. I think it takes out the thought of, you know, trying to ultimately save the rifles. That's a great little nade, of course. Pioneered by ex-Fnatic man, Flusher. Way back when. I think that must have been... I think it was like WESG around that time that people noticed he was using it. Not needed, but you know, it's flashy. Here we go though, the B hit coming in as Twister just flown ahead of those smokes. The rest of the team to back him up eventually and gain control of the B site. Certainly could swing either way. Crims on the scout finds Elige. Again, a very, very chaotic round, Dan. But Liquid managed to get the bomb down. However, will they take the round? That's the real question. Yeah,
contact B. If you know when to sprinkle that in, it can be very effective, and a post plant's working out, trying to go through those choke points, not proving successful here for Roland, or for his counterpart Exist. Crim's now left alone with the scout. Not ideal, and he'll be taken out by a nice peek coming in from Nitro. Very well selected round from Team Liquid. They had an advantage going into the bomb site, got a post plant on B, and that's always a nice spot to play from if you can get some position, which they did. And we can see that with that force buy from Fnatic, life is going to be pretty difficult at this point now, and this is where Liquid should start to take over the game as we move forwards, unless Fnatic can find something spicy to throw in the mix.
I think that is ultimately the biggest issue at the moment for Fnatic is that economy game. They didn't really have anything to use counter utility to force their way back in to the B site in the previous round. This one should be surefire for Liquid. Looks a little bit dicey as you saw all those players running up middle. Here we go, Exist with that recovered UMP doing a little bit of damage, but they've reacted well once again as Liquid do, gained a control. Not with the bomb though, so this is a little bit of a weird one. Again, it's a fast, chaotic round, but because of the superior weaponry and ultimately just having armor, Liquid are easily able to come out on top and even drop Crim, so he cannot save that AK. Liquid, they take the lead. It looked coming into the second half that Fnatic were going to get riding on a high, the momentum from the first half to carry them on through, but it's been very, very back and forth, and eventually Liquid are the team to run ahead. You know, their T side looking pretty clean here, and keeping it certainly competitive. I think it is ultimately at the moment the economy game. Fnatic cannot get a grip on the money, and that is really costing them, if you'll pardon the pun.
Well, now it's time. Get that all back out on JW, and he was actually one of the AWPers that really innovated a lot of the aggressive plays on Mirage. And back in the old days, it was JW's playground. I actually even remember videos that he made showing all the aggressive options that you have with that AWP based on spawns. Either way, it is a default coming in from Liquids. They've decided not to opt to have anyone left in B apartments to bully any players there. Instead, they're going to go for a 4-man take on middle. And with that man on a ramp, this is indicative. Ooh, this is always a nice angle. It is indicative that they do want to end up into an A split. But let's see what they can find here in mid. Crims, does he realize that angle is dangerous? Ooh, oh my god. That's so close, and there it is. Ooh, it's a fair fight now, though. Crims is able to dodge past the angle, and that's not worked out for Liquid.
No, maybe the stance of the player below, perhaps a little bit too far forward, or something along those lines. It didn't quite seem like the clean lineup that Twist was looking for. Meanwhile, first kill comes in, JW finding Stewie 2K. Key player to take down ahead of the smoke is Exist. Just sat waiting. Here from short, finds the first. The spray down is clean as he gets all three. Quick work from Exist. It looks so easy for him. Naf, unfortunately, caught with a nade out, but what do you expect him to do there, really? He was ready to move in with his team, but suddenly they were no more. And Fnatic, they answer back with an 11th round of their own, looking really, really good. The crowd trying to get behind Liquid here as the hard reset comes in, but that was pretty nice from Exist.
Yeah, it's such good timing there to go for that play. Counter-Strike's the game, you've got to take those risks, and Exist, a player, one of the players with the most experience still in competitive Counter-Strike at this point, playing actively, and you can see some of that experience really paying off. What a beautiful play from him. Ooh. Now it's down. Oh, that's, you never like to see that. Oh dear.
Shaky.
Well, it looks like I'm not sure if that was supposed to be for the end of balcony, just to try to increase the amount of presence and just be able to push up quite far there, or like what exactly Twist was going for. But Liquid are looking like they're going to go for a delayed mid-take here, and they're pulling back Stewie with that AWP back away from the A positions. And so we may see a B split attempt here. That looks to be what the major option for Liquid looks like. But it's a minute gone, and Fnatic still have a lot of utility here because there's no pressure from Liquid just yet.
They seem happy to wait, at least for a little bit longer. Perhaps this late take, like you say, could come without utility, and maybe walk someone up. Looks like maybe that's what they're going to go for, a B play from the boys in the apartments and a slow short take to catch off. Exist, reloading, that was a little bit edgy, peeks out a bit too early as well, getting taken down to half HP, but the spray is clean, looking good. Nitro eventually takes him down, but he's bought enough time for JW and giving him the room. The second comes through, the third not quite, as Stewie trades him back, but there's a second up to deal with, of course. It's all down to Naf, a 1 versus 3, finds the first, only just though. 10 seconds remaining, got to get that bomb down. He has retrieved it, trying to spot out where the players are coming from, taking the fights, in fact. Only 8 bullets remaining, and ends up going flat into the grave as Twist will find him. A 12th round. Again, it's chaotic, it's close, but Fnatic come out on top.
It was well if he actually gets that kill as Twist jumps through the window, that he gets a plant and a 1v1. That would have been very interesting. But great work from Fnatic again. Exist is actually looking pretty good. I liked, obviously he got that reload and it's a bit awkward on the timing, but still managed to get the kill out of it, and things are starting to really shape up for Fnatic. I felt like Liquid are taking a grip of the match and it was starting to slip through Fnatic's fingers, but that's just when they double down and look stronger than ever. 2 AWPs in for them as we get an A push coming in from Liquid. Quick flick from JW, Twist the same as they knock down the pins of Liquid. And that's it. Very fast one, just rushed into A, and that's that.
Yeah, Hail Mary play. Unfortunately, does not work out. The Lord not on their side for that particular round. But as you just may have heard, a bit of a pause coming through, would imagine, from Liquid to try and recover this back. It's so late on in the game. They have looked good in this second half, but Fnatic have just got a little bit of a foothold, and that's so far all that they've needed. But it's so difficult to call, still under contention, could go either way. You know, that one swing round could make all the difference at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming quite difficult now for Liquid, on the tail end of the second map, and the money is really not in a good place. The AWPs are out for Fnatic, they're confident. And one of the difficult things about Fnatic sometimes as well is that on the T sides, they can play scrappy mid rounds, they can make plays all over the place. But on the CT sides, they're very good at playing passive, a lot better than a lot of teams. And playing actively has its own risk, but playing passively, you have to have perfect timings. You have to understand exactly when the time is to push and to go. And Fnatic have been doing that quite well so far. Exist being one of those key players in making plays like that to win some of these swing rounds for the Swedes. But Liquid now will take middle once again and working that defaults. And there is some rad presence there for Fnatic, and Stewie is close to the smoke. Exist, can he win again?
To his old tricks, Exist going for the spray through, but it's a little bit too high. In fact, the Tracer's followed. Naf, meanwhile, takes down Crims on the reactionary push. A 5 versus 3. As Liquid have got a lot of control to work with. Middle gives them so many options in towards ladder room as well. They've pretty much taken most of short. JW going to try and take it back. The contact AWP. Is he going to go any further than this? The double stack is kind of that point of no return. Could get caught off guard, Elige. Oh, back turned. Oh, but a missed shot from JW. Unfortunately, it's not capitalized by Liquid, but maybe that's the opportunity that they need. They know where one of those AWPs are. Moving in towards A, Brolan does his best, but it's not quite good enough. 4 versus 2, and 2 AWPs on the retake. Not ideal at all, as you can see. Dan already going for that save. Liquid will secure a 12th round.
I do wonder, though, how many players Liquid may commit to try to remove some of those AWPs, their economy being pretty poor as well. We'll see, though. And you can see the back and forth here, the success that finally is starting to go Fnatic's way. 3 rounds there in a row, and now finally broken. And I think we'll have plenty of money in the tag, especially with 2 guns saved, so not really in all that much trouble from that perspective. Now, Liquid, though, they need to find some more consistency with how they open up the map. And Fnatic, again, you know, they haven't really been playing all that aggressively. So at this point, I feel like there's a lot of plays that they could just throw at Liquid that they would not have seen, you know, thus far, which could throw them for a loop. So I'm curious if we're going to see something sudden, some sudden switch of pace, or if Fnatic will just continue. We've got the double ops. Let's just hold this, play passive. Let's let Liquid take some of the map, and we'll just make do with the reads we get after that.
It does seem that that pause just before round number 25, you know, it gave them a good read from Liquid. It worked effectively. Not going for the heavy peek, the Molotov, of course, to go in towards Connector. Conventional take. Nice little bit of nade damage. JW on the edge of the smoke. Very passive angle to take. As he gets smoked out, unfortunately has to move away. The AWP, at least for now, has been nullified. Quick hit up towards short from Mirage. This is good. Twist pushed off. The angle exists, gets taken down. And once again, it's a very similar situation to the previous round where Liquid have picked up an early frag and they have so much control, it leaves a lot of guesswork in the hands of Fnatic. As Liquid seem to be the ones now with the heavier pace on the T side. It's really working.
Yeah, things are looking a bit scary now for Fnatic. They've lost so much map control. They're gambling towards the A-bomb site. They've got 3 players towards it. They'll lose 1 to Stewie, which may only further convince them to ship up and shore up that defense towards A, but instead now the pick coming in towards B will change everything. That should be the round now. 5 players left alive. The lurk towards A. The bomb plant on B. It's just too much here for Fnatic. This looks very similar to the previous round now, just a different bomb site. And Liquid are going to be equalizing. And again, if you are new on the stream, in this first semi-final, Liquid won the first map, as you can see at the top of your screens as well.
Trying to drop a few more guns. I think he's heard both of them. There's a few teammates in tow to help him out. Just all depends on the angle. I'm not sure whether he's going to be expecting. Doesn't hard go for it. Again, it's just kind of that safe style. The jump up comes in from Crims, but not able to connect his spray. And there you go. JW also falls. Salt in the wound as NAF will completely demolish the economy, and therefore the buy coming into this next round for Fnatic. 1,900 on the loss bonus. I think there's a few players up towards 3K, a few at 0. So it's going to be a difficult call yet again. And reiterate, so very late on, these decisions have way more pressure and weight behind them. The gravitas that they carry is very, very difficult to deal with, especially when you're a map down like you just mentioned. It just piles and piles and piles and piles.
Look at it, really making Fnatic realize just quite how difficult it can to beat a team of their caliber. And this is getting really interesting now. Again, Liquid just need this map win to move through to the grand final. That's all they need. Fnatic, they can't let it slip away just yet, but they're going to have to let this round slip away before they can have a good bye. So as we go back into this one, Liquid, all they need to do is play a fairly solid and safe anti-eco, and they will be fine. Only one Deagle really to worry about. And we'll get a quick jump into underpass from JW. So we'll take this one with a slow and cautious approach. And Twist will be the first to make contact.
Willie, thinking about it, going for it. Oh, a bit of hidden angle. Doesn't spot anyone in underpass. Is that the call of underpass clear that catches a player off guard in middle? We shall have to see. We shall have to find out. There we go. The hit can be coming in. JW, though, he's blind. Opts not to go for the wild spray. Waiting. Playing with his food, maybe. I think, unfortunately, he's kind of missed the opportunity as they are backing away up short through the apartments. Zis to fall. I think everybody else will soon follow. Easy cleanup so far. Stewie almost getting taken down, but B control. The bomb plant surely to follow. Roll on 15. Easy, easy peasy. JW, again, like I say, just a little bit too slow. They're ready for it. And Twist might just land cheeky heady. He does indeed. Takes down Mirage. But at this point, with the amount of money that they have, that's not really good enough. It's a difficult one because it's an eco late on in the game. You don't really expect a great deal, but you'd like to maybe see a bit of an eco strategy to pick up a few guns maybe even save them because it is so late on in the game. You can't just look at that as a throwaway round. You still have to do something with it.
And it was a good effort. But this is a round which really counts as we move forwards. Both teams looking very calm and considered. But the double orbs outs once again. Liquid, we see a change of pace here. Going quite quick, and JW, he misses a jump onto a stack of bricks there in the corner. Nice angle though from Cribs, tries to spray through, but can't find the second. But that already, just one kill is pretty solid because JW's out in the open, and he's got himself a good flick. Perfect start here, 5 versus 3 there for Fnatic. What on earth do Liquid do? Twist! My God, the quickscope comes in from bad to worse. It's a catastrophe.
It certainly is. It just needs Exist to find this final kill, and everyone will have pulled their weight in this round. Elysian has been around, and there it is. The team ace. Fnatic buying themselves a little bit more time. Not quite out of the woods yet. We will be going to the full 30. But yeah, that was definitely unexpected. I mean, Crims picks up that first kill. It's a bit of a cheeky angle. Sure, it's difficult to deal with. But I feel like the peek that comes in from mid from that second player to just give JW an easy opportunity is perhaps one of those situations where you panic and let the pressure get to you rather than collecting yourself. A second later, there was a smoke to cover him off, and then you could have played things a little bit more carefully rather than carefree. We'll see. Still money to buy, of course. Nice smoke this time that lands towards the end of balcony, but stopped for a little bit by the Molotov. All 5 players ready to burst. It worked last time. We'll see. Looks like there's, judging by the map, there's 3 players in close proximity to that B site. So it could very quickly become a bloodbath. The smoke's being lined up. Just a matter of seconds as that animation resets every time you swap across on the spectator, of course. So here we go. The flashes to follow as they will move in. Great Molotovs from Fnatic. Great damage done onto Twist. That entire corridor is completely covered in flames. It's holding them down. And now this kind of thwarts the burst play that they want to go for. Sure, they could go back to A, but they've got very little utility to work with.
And after waiting a certain amount of time, there starts to be questions from Fnatic. You can already see that Twist is rotating towards A, so they actually think that maybe this was a fake. And so Liquid have to not fake themselves out and just commit to this. And we're just going to spot one, and the rotation's far away. There is a window of opportunity here for Liquid as they get it. Stewie 180s, but he can't find Exist. Exist has been phenomenal from Catwalk. Finally taken down, though. A 2 versus 3 here for Liquid. They don't have much time. They have to make this one work, and that's not a bad way to do it.
Nitro taking matters into his own hands, but the bomb gets dropped. Elige, he goes for a bit of a wide peek. It now leaves Nitro in a sticky situation. The backstab from Brolan is easy enough. Map, I should say. Game point for Fnatic to keep themselves in it. They had that one round. It was 14-13. They needed it. They took it, and now they've continued that momentum. Looks like they might be able to take this one as they show the faces of Liquids a little bit disheartened. Things have really gone by the wayside in these past few rounds, and that's not ideal this late on. Sure, they're a map up, but of course they want to clean this one up in 2-0. Of course they do.
So a moment pause there to get that reset. You can see the crowd trying to lift the spirits of Team Liquid as they are up against it. The crowd want a quick and easy entry to that grand finals for Liquid, and how it would benefit them, because you have that situation where you have to play so many extra maps. You don't play extra maps, as you go into that grand final. You don't want to be, having any additional fatigue. You want to have a time to relax, time to strategize, go over demos, all that kind of stuff. And we won't see that right now because, of course, we're back into it. 15 for Fnatic, just one more, and they've looked so good in some of these recent rounds. But can Liquid, in this last one, find a way to force this overtime? Standard stuff here. Stewie's been throwing that every single round, forcing the smoke, making Fnatic ask questions about middle.
Late short smoke comes in as well, again to keep those questions being asked. Slowly going to move in towards middle off the back of a little bit of utility, forcing Fnatic away relatively easily. Both B players close together towards short. No one wants to be the player to make the mistake here. It is so intense as silence fills the arena. Oh, Twist tries to go for the flick, does not quite land it, but at least stays alive for now. It's more control being gained by Liquid, though, as they force them away for short for the time being. Continued mid-control. This time, the boost up, it works. Nitro was on bottom before, but this time he's on top, and he performs well. Twist just get tagged down relatively low, but the first kill for Liquid, that's going to look good. There's only 35 seconds thereabouts remaining right now, and Fnatic still have no idea where this bomb is going. Up through connector, nade lands, takes down Twist, but that's still only one player. They are yet to rotate across, and time is in favor of Liquid right here. They have so much control. They're behind their smokes. This is so smart. Flashes coming through. Player at Sandwich, taken down by Stewie. All onto JW to hold things down initially. Bomb plant coming in. His teammates falling down around him, as it's all down to JW to stop the overtime. He cannot. Liquid secure the 15th as we are going to overtime.
Amazing stuff there from Liquid off the back of that boost, that opening pick, trying to go for the push. Discipline from Naf as well. He was, at that point, he's thinking, all right, that pick and window, that's going to draw more players towards connector. That's my chance to get up ramp, to get that luck play going. There's the smoke there, though. At jungle, that makes things a bit weird, like you were saying, because that AWP is still trained on ramp, and so he can't quite enter yet. So still they have the understanding of exactly which pieces need to be in what positions to make that push work, and work it did. And now the resets. And it's going to be a tough one here for Fnatic to bring themselves into this one, but it also likewise for Liquid. Both teams have been really stepping up here on this finals here at the iBUYPOWER Masters. And I have no idea who's going home with this map.
Yeah, it is a difficult one to call at this point. There have been stints, like you say, of great performance from both sides. It could be anyone. As they wait patiently for that overtime to begin. Will be interesting to see, money-wise, what format we're going with. So it does always make a bit of a difference. What are you a fan of? 16K, 10K?
10K.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
MR3 10K, let's go. That is generally the standard these days. And I think it's better. But there's a lot of arguments this way and that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And but I definitely think, you know, at this point of the tournament, you know, it's very, again, you know, you don't want to play too many rounds, because these players have sat up there for a very long time. The team has to go into a grand final as well. I think the format works out pretty well. Also, you get to see good action. Things always get a bit weird as well in overtimes, because, you know, you're throwing your playbook at the other team. You get into that first overtime, you're like, okay, what worked really well? That's like, you know, what you start to think about. I mean, what are some of the plays that were really working for us? You get to carry that momentum through. If you just had that good T side, and you know, you're staying on that T side, you get to carry that momentum through. The overtime dynamic is interesting, and we are off. Liquid stay on the T side as mentioned. Fnatic, they can buy whatever they want, and this is looking very different from Liquid. We didn't really see fast contact plays through to A, but it will be slowed down if that was the intention by that early incendiary. But there's the flashbangs. Oh dear, that is a strong response.
That is very unfortunate indeed. It looked like for a second he was going to get caught off. A third comes in. That's slightly better as Nitro was underneath a Liege, but still 3 for Brolan for 1 is really not the best of trades. The bomb at least going to go down. A 2 versus 4 retake. No utility left for Nitro and Naf. They just need to find the heads. The first comes in. Nitro takes down JW. They're waiting for this flank to come through. They spot each other. It's Naf that wins it. He didn't have his gun out for a second there. Twist caught completely off guard. We're now into a 2 versus 2. There's kits available. The nade could do a lot of damage for Exist for sure, but it's all a question of checking the angles. Time is of the essence. Naf has retrieved a Molotov. Could be very useful. Nitro, the double spray down. 16 rounds secured for Liquid as a 2 versus 4 retake falls apart from Fnatic.
Brilliant stuff there. You love to see those sprays, and my God. I also, just the fact that Liquid, they haven't really thrown around like that at Fnatic in a regulation, and to pull it out in overtime, perfect time for it. Obviously, I guess you could argue perfect time would have been to win in regulation if that was something that could have been effective then, but equally, definitely something that Fnatic have not been used to dealing with. It caught them off guard all kinds of different directions, and now double up is the response. Fnatic seeing what they can do with this one, and a fast bit of mid-control here for Liquid as they play out the default passive towards A-Ramp, falling back now is Nat. And Liquid will have mid for the time.
It's a crazy first round. In the first bout of overtime, Molotov goes in, Exists pushed off the angle, but they can't really follow up. Ooh, JW, perfect timing to find that one onto Nitro. He's not aware, at least it's traded back, but then Stewie immediately traded as well. A flurry of frags. Crim's now on the AWP. Watching that crack angle, it looks like it's going to be a B hit. There's only one player here. Exist, he is advanced, but again gets Molotov down. This is perfect, but they're not ready for him to be there. It's not great from Twist, at least it's traded. But still a man advantage for Fnatic going into this B site. Looks like it's possibly going to be a retake, although maybe not. Now a 1 versus 3. Naf trying to spot the head of someone. He needs something, anything at this point. Bomb plant will come in. Molotov not actually going to spread to him at all. That's a little bit unfortunate for Fnatic, but it's good peaks and a good find. 16 rounds from Fnatic. A little bit more sane that time around, but still... Liquid, I don't know, a fast hit towards B. It's difficult. That Molotov play, both Short and Van, really, really good. But the follow-up from the players themselves, not quite what you'd be looking for.
Yeah, and Fnatic straight back in it with that one. And the question for me now is, do Fnatic just keep doing the same thing? Do they get aggressive? That's one of the beauties of Counter-Strike, is that there's so many different answers, none of which might necessarily be a perfect one. There could be 3 different good answers. And we'll see, once again, Liquid going for what worked in that first round. But look at Fnatic, they've got 2 players playing close. This is a way to deal with it. That's a fantastic flick coming in from Twist. Nice underhanded jump throw on that smoke into Palace, understanding that an A play was afoot. Liquid do not have to commit, though. They can still double back. It's a 4 versus 5 and they have full utility. That's not the end of the world here. Back into middle is definitely an option. Back towards B apartments. They can reset the situation, but they're just going to hold out for the time being. And in doing so, Fnatic might start to rotate out of these high alert positions towards A.
4 players in close proximity, though. Smokes will come in, but no smoke at CT. Certainly not needed these days, but Twist is going to capitalize on the fact nonetheless. Nitro goes flying across there, picks up 1 through the smoke. Oh my god! Okay, Twist with 2, Brolan with 1 in there. A pretty crazy end as Fnatic pick up 3 kills, it seems, all in the same moment. Very, very messy. As Liquid, you know, you talked about throwing the playbook in regulation and using all of that, and then you go into overtime, what new things do you pull up? It seemed like Liquid switched things almost too much, and they didn't look comfortable with what they were doing. It worked out in that 1 round, but Fnatic ultimately come out on top of the chaos, for sure.
I love how Fnatic called their bluff as well. You know, we see Liquid cutting noise, and Fnatic are like, yeah, we're just going to stay here. We're just going to keep 4 on A. It's like, and just make it impossible for you to come back in. Great read from them.
Yeah.
Really good guess. And Fnatic, you know, for me, in the last 10, 15 rounds, they've really looked to be the better team in many respects. They're just hit really strong at the moment, and now they switch onto that T side, and they've got 2 players towards the underpass stairs and 3 in A ramp. Now, typically you would expect this to be an A split, getting those underpass players through to connector. Let's see how it plays out here. If Liquid can find a way to throw a wrench in the works before the play can really get going, and maybe that's not the case. That's a good find, isn't it?
Indeed. Lead caught completely off guard, but Naf trading 1 back. Nitro now moving in to work with him, just misses the mark by a few seconds. Double AWP's yet to see a great deal of action. There's a minute remaining, plenty of utility to work with for Fnatic. Well, maybe not quite enough smokes for the A site of Mirage, and that looks like a little bit where they want to be moving to. Stewie in at CT, playing that defensive position. It certainly has slowed down a lot here, Dan, as we get to the final few moments of the round. Twist on the lurk at B, trying to catch someone off guard. Maybe doesn't really work out. The AWP's now coming into play as Nitro finds another. Stewie trying to take an advanced position, but just opts to play it passively. 25 seconds remaining, no utility. It's all on to Brolan, and there it is. Nitro with a nice little fadeaway flick. 17th round for Liquid as Fnatic. It looked good to start with, and then they just didn't know what to do with the control that they gained.
And it's that first team to 19 that will be able to take this one. So this is walking the razor's edge at the moment. Started pretty convincing there from Liquid after what was a shaky start, losing a man in window straight away. Managed to recover quite handily. Once again, we see Fnatic now favoring towards B. Not really leaving anyone towards A ramp, although Crims is actually rotating back there, so it's starting to resemble more of a default once again. Leaving options open. 3 players in mid here. Prolong quick. Is there a pop flash for connector? There it is. Now he starts to make his way through. So they've secured connector. There's a tag from Naf, but he's been spotted. But Crims picks up the entry towards ramp, and all of a sudden Fnatic have some really interesting choices to make. Do they burst off of this? And look at this rotation. Liquid quickly reinforcing A.
Fnatic keeping Liquid guessing at this point. Maybe playing a little bit of a double fake themselves. They retrieve the bomb. It moves back towards connector where the majority of the players are. Oh, Liege looks away at the wrong time. Eventually looks into the eyes of his killer, but Crims doing all the work. Finds 3 very quickly indeed. Nice little flashing coming in from the CTs. Naf, unfortunately, though, is not good for it. Crims looking for the ace as it's all onto Twists. To stop the 18th round, turns away from a flashbang that never comes. Crims going in with the contact, gets taken down. The ace denied. And now 4 needs to be found by Twists.
He actually has time. There is time on the clock here. Twists, he's got guns at his feet. If he needs to switch to an AK, and he's looking to maybe go for this one. They've got lots of money, so why not? And he's not looking to be able to find a quick frag. Perhaps that's what he wanted. Not sure if his mouse kind of bugged down him there. If some dust was caught under the sensor or what. But either way, what a performance from Crims. Gets the entry against an AWP, I think. I think he got the entry against Nitros on the AWP towards A ramp. Not sure if Nitro was looking the right way or not. But then those 2 kills as he sneaks through onto the A bomb site. Just classy stuff there from Crims. And that is scary.
A difficult one for Twists, I think, as maybe some people have noticed. He is lagging towards the back quite heavily, unfortunately. Obviously known as a very mentally reliant player, and can sometimes struggle with it. If he doesn't perform well initially, it kind of carries through for the entire game. So maybe that comes into the factor if he doesn't fancy trying a 1 versus 4 because he doesn't have the confidence, which obviously is a shame. But we'll see. Will it be Fnatic taking 19-17? Will it be a second overtime? That is the real question here. Twist doesn't seem to have a weapon. That's a little bit interesting. Brolan, though, does find the first. Eventually an AK retrieved by Twist. Okay.
I was going to say that was not really a perfect smoke there for connector, but it seems to work out very nicely for Brolan. Brolan is very snappy, very quick. I guess you can expect that of the youngster. And speaking of which, we've got Liege.
Oh.
And Naf picking up kills themselves, so now things are starting to get interesting. Crims looking to try to find more play on that A bomb site as he did in the previous round, but the positions of his opposition on that A site is not really all that ideal for him, especially AK against AWP. But combining with Exist to perhaps buy him some time and distraction, pull some attention away, that could maybe allow Crims to make it happen. They know that there's a guy in Palace as well.
I think they may well have spotted him out. He's tagged down pretty low, perhaps through the wall from Nitro's AWP. Oh, Nitro could have lined it up with time, actually. The bomb goes down. Meanwhile, Crims finds the head of Twist. So we're into a 3 versus 3. Twist in mid has gone on position, takes down 1. The second as well. Nitro to keep his team in this map as he falls to 11 HP and he falls to Crims' AK. Certainly coming alive in overtime there, Crims. A hell of an overtime for performance from him, but 19-17 in favor of Fnatic. We'll see them going through to that 3rd and final map.
Yes, Dust 2 is on its way. It's imminent. That's going to be really fun to see between these 2 teams. I just adore the fact that Fnatic were able to step up so much in this second map, because Liquid, they had a hard time here or there, but they were still very good, and they gave a lot of fight. They made it very difficult for Fnatic to be able to actually win this one, and to do it in overtime after losing that, there being somewhat of a comeback from Liquid, that's got to feel absolutely great for them.
Yeah, certainly a really good bounce back, like you say, and going into that 3rd map, it will be interesting. Dust 2 as a 3rd. Pretty spicy for sure, but man, what an exciting game. And Twist, Brolan coming alive on the Fnatic side. Crims as well had some great rounds, but over on Liquid it did seem maybe a little bit the twists with the Zeds needs to, maybe go away and just kind of calm himself down, get his head back in the game, because that third and final map is going to be difficult if he is not there mentally.
Well, it is time to toss it over to the analysts, so take it away, guys.
Well, Fnatic looking a whole lot stronger there in the second map, which was, of course, their map pick, so maybe that is to be expected. But still a very close game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it started out with Fnatic just kind of smothering Liquid. I think the fact that Liquid got hard reset 3 times in that first half on their CT side could never really get going until the very end, where they fit in just enough rounds to stay competitive and then had their own fiery start on the T side. But yeah, once it came into extra rounds, it felt like that overtime, which is probably the most important part to talk about, is just Liquid on their T sides just got stalled out so many times. Like Fnatic did really good holding on to their utility, waiting for Liquid to start to make a commitment and then put a counter to it and really bog them down and get the rotations they need to make plays. Just looked a lot sharper in overtime. I feel like Liquid kind of got away from what they were doing in regulation and tried to change things up, and it just didn't work out for them. Like they kept getting blown up by aggressive plays by Fnatic or how Fnatic used their utility on the CT side. So all in all, like you said, a very close game. It didn't start out that way. It looked like Fnatic was going to run away with it, but Liquid hung in there, but not enough.
Yeah, the T sides for both teams were really, really good, and it seemed like the defenses couldn't quite get a hold of it, and the response from both teams was to be pretty aggressive on the choke points. They both kind of made that adjustment. I want to go back. I thought that's a pretty cool game from Fnatic, and this is why I find them so interesting to watch, is like they lose the pistol in the first half, and this is way back, but that second round, with the new money, or they're not really new anymore, but with the money changes, you see teams frequently just saving and buying in that third round. They go for like 4 MAC-10s, and they just hit the B bomb site. And like that's the kind of cool, not just aggressive plays in terms of getting aggressive on in certain parts of the map, but just aggressive calling during certain stretches for Fnatic was really, really nice. And also, you have to say, that's a really impressive performance in overtime to, in the first round, have a 4-on-2, and you lose that to Team Liquid, who had just planted the bomb. Like losing a 4-on-2 in that first round, you can crumble so easily in overtime. And the fact that they're able to hold on to it and keep that composure and actually win out in that overtime, that's super impressive to me. So that's a solid performance from Fnatic. And we talk about the young guys, Twist and Brolin, a lot, but the best games we've seen out of Fnatic is when, I mean, this isn't no surprise, when they have like the 4 players performing, but like they're super important pieces to have. But this Fnatic team, when they have that like deep, everyone kind of even, again, it's like 29 kills for Twist, 24 kills for Exist, 4 players within that 24 to 29 area. That's really good. That's another well-rounded effort out of Fnatic, which just shows that their team play and the way that they're playing together is very efficient at the moment.
I mean, the thing is they have 2 different tools they can use on their T side, which helps them out so much, is that Twist and Brolin combo up middle, getting aggressive, finding duels up connector, getting picks, getting into ladder room, being able to take control and start opening up routes. And then, like I said, I think Crims might be the best outside A player on T side in the world on Mirage. He is so good at just having that intuition on like, when can I peek? When's the right time to take a fight? I mean, he had that one where he just bulldozed through the A bombs, like just kind of snuck up ramp, killed the guy under balcony unsuspectingly, actually almost got an ace on that round. That was what helped him kind of shut out the overtime. So when you have a guy like Crims, who, again, I think his legacy has been more of like a passive rifle, more of kind of a support system. The dude creates openings on the edge of the map actually quite frequently, and so that's just another layer to what he can bring to the table besides just being like a really good CT anchor and more of a passive rifle. He can also break out at times and make you plays, and that certainly held out Fnatic a lot in that game as well.
I'm actually kind of like amazed that Fnatic even won that. They survived 2 30 bombs, or 30 kills each for NAF and Nitro. That's super impressive to be able to overcome 2 players having great games. Because Liquid, I mean, that wasn't a bad performance for them whatsoever. They're obviously going to be a little bit disappointed that they dropped it in that fashion. But I mean, really just a very good job by Fnatic to overcome a lot of obstacles.
I mean, the biggest problem obviously is that Twist underperformed, which is a player we hyped coming into this series, like spoken of as one of the best players in North America, if not the best player in North America.
I do wonder if part of it is some of the adjustments he's had to make. Like, he used to play A on CT side, now he plays B, so I don't know if that swap in position on CT side, maybe he wasn't feeling it quite as much. Maybe it still needs more time to adjust to that new spot on CT. But yeah, I mean, he every now and then will have a game like this where he does struggle a little bit. I mean, that's going to happen to anyone. You're going to have an off day, but you would think on average, and as we get into map number 3, you would think Twist probably is going to be able to bring it back.
I don't think the underperformance necessarily matters all that much when you see NAF and Nitro having 30 kills each. There is just so much that can go around. And I mean, obviously, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, we expect more from Twist. He obviously expects more from himself, and that's a player we normally see having very good games. But I mean, when you have 2 other players in your team, both at 30 kills, what are you going to do? Sometimes it just doesn't. And again, B player on Mirage, sometimes it's just a very awkward situation in terms of statistics and the scoreboard and everything like that. So not a big deal. They dropped the second map, which is unfortunate. I thought it was going to be a 2-0. Now they're going to have to fight for that third one, which is Dust 2, I believe. Yeah, that, I mean, that's going to be pretty wild. And I just think it was very blatantly obvious that Fnatic was much more comfortable in Mirage than they were on Cash. Like, they didn't look nearly as lost at times. I'm just kind of impressed that both teams had pretty successful T-sides. Obviously, Fnatic with the 3 resets, that'll tell you that right there. Still struggling with pistol rounds, though. You're not going to win that second round every single time, and I think it was Smix who was keeping track and said they've only won 1 pistol round today. So going into this third map now, you have 1 map for your tournament life on the line, and that's where those pistol rounds are going to come into effect.
Well, we are going to go ahead and throw things to a break before we jump into that third and final map to see who's going to be playing in the Grand Finals later today. We will return in just a bit with more of the iBUYPOWER Masters in just a bit.